Here are the 5 R's for creating study guides. This is an excerpt from the DIY Study Guide workshop available at the Learning Commons. Have you ever had an instructor announce a big exam and that there would be no provided study guide? Have you ever freaked out a little bit? Many students feel this way initially. However, it's important to realize that you can teach yourself to be an independent learner so that you don't feel this way again. You can do this by taking control of your mindset, following a process such as the one illustrated here, and then following through on the steps using a study group or perhaps with a tutor. Personalizing a study guide is helpful because it requires you to reflect on your learning and prioritize what you're studying. It also complements your natural strengths and supports areas where you need more development. To begin, take a blank page and divide it up into boxes. You can have as many or as few as you like, and basically you will assign one box on your page to each section or topic that you will study. Now, before we proceed, it's important to realize that information handling is really a balance between what's in your head and what's on the page. Basically, it's an inverse relationship. So if you know something really well, you don't need to write it down. This also means that the things you do feel you need to write down may not be things that you understand quite as well as you think you do. The goal of this strategy is really to limit the things that you write down and provide a way of checking that you actually know the maximum information. So before we dive into the 5 R's, I want to stress 2 points. First, this process is nonlinear. That means you might need to jump ahead or go back in order to make the process work for you. The second thing is that it's important to get help when you need it at any stage of the process. This is completely normal. So the first step is to reflect on what you know. Make a list of the topics that you feel comfortable with and that you understand well, and the things that you really don't feel comfortable with. The second step is to record the common pitfalls. Take a closer look at those things that you don't understand and figure out what the mistakes are that you're making and why. The third step is to recite the key concepts that help you find an alternative strategy around those common pitfalls. You want to write those down too. Finally, you want to review the application using the key concept so that you actually get through the problem from start to finish without any trouble. You might need to do this a couple times. And then the last step is to reduce your study sheet. Now that you are comfortable with the process, you know that information, and it doesn't need to be written down in your study guide anymore. If you're interested in having the complete DIY study guide workshop, please stop by the Learning Commons. You might also be interested in other topics like test taking, the studiogram method, and goal setting and tracking. Thanks.